Hi, this is Donna Druchunas, and we are working on the Stopping by Woods on a Snowy Eve mittens in this video. And this time I want to talk about sizing. I have two sizes in the pattern, an adult size and a child size, and you can see they're quite different. I don't have gradually changing sizes. There's just a really small one and a moderately large one. Fits me. It's very stretchy because it's kind of like ribbing. So it fits me even though it looks too small just lying down. This is a perfect size for me. But you know, you might have a hand that's quite a bit smaller than mine but not small enough to fit in this. Or you might want to make these for a man, so you want to make them bigger. Now if you go bigger, you might need more yarn than the one skein of worsted weight, which is normally about 200 yards. But I'm going to show you how you can do that. So you've knit your cuff and you have some number of stitches in knit 1, purl 1, twisted ribbing. Now you're going to increase a little bit for the hand. And actually in the pattern, there's one increase in the middle of the first row of the chart. You can see there's an increase symbol there, so that you've gone up 2 stitches actually, one on each side. So this chart will be worked twice, once for the palm, once for the back of the hand. Notice the mitten's the same on both sides. And so that will be a total of increase of 2 stitches, but one on each half. Okay, so that's what I have in the pattern. And then we'll increase more here when we add the thumb gore, but that doesn't make it a different size than the mitten. That's just a normal part of the shaping. So if you need something in between this size and this size, or you need something bigger than this size, you can increase more here. And I'm going to show you where to do that. That will work fine. So you notice there are these little columns of a small cable. There's one on each side on the size small, and there's 2 on each side of the main cable on the adult size. And in between those panels is 1 purl. You can add purls in between those to add stitches to your mitten to make it bigger. You could add 1 just at the side seam, or 1 between each of them on the large, or even on the outside. So you could add up to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 extra stitches on the large size, or you could add up to 6 extra stitches, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 on the small size. So if you're going to do that, I suggest that you mark it on your chart. I'm going to mark my chart now. So say it was the small and I just wanted to add a couple stitches here and here. 1 on the outside of each of these. And what does that look like? You have to look at the mitten, because here we're going across cable panel, center panel, cable panel. Then right here is the side of the mitten. There's 1 purl there already, then cable panel, etc. So I can add a stitch right here if I want. I can also add one right before or after what the thumb gore will be. And I can add one here if I want, and I can add one here if I want. So this would be either or. You wouldn't add 2. Probably I'd add it right here, because this one will be that one. But if you only wanted to add 1, you could not do it 1 on both sides. Does that make sense? So probably you would add 1, 2, 3 stitches. But you could do 4 if you did 1 on each side of the thumb gore. So I know I said 3 before here, but you could actually add 2 in there, 1 on each side of that original purl stitch. Okay, and I would mark it on my chart like that so that I would know where to increase, and then remember, I would probably put the line all the way up to remind myself that there's an extra purl stitch there in whatever places I did. So on this chart, it's the same thing. You can add 1 or 2 on each side of these purl columns. You already have 1 purl there. You could add 1 or 2. So I set up to 10. I wouldn't really add more than that, but if you marked every single place where it is possible, you can probably add up more than 10. But you see what I'm saying? Next to these little cable patterns, where there's already pearls, you can add an extra pearl anywhere in there. And remember to do this twice around. So this will be the palm and then again on the back of the hand. And then again, wherever you decide to add that extra pearl, put a line going all the way up your hand so you don't forget that that stitch is there. So then, you know, here we have 29 stitches, but you might end up with 31 or 33. And of course, with each of those additions, your size goes up. There's no simple way to measure the gauge on this because it is like ribbing and it's very stretchy. So what I usually do is start knitting and then decide. And here we have just setting up the patterns, 6 rows, 6 rounds. You could set that up. And if it's a little too small, you can go back down. So you might want to put a lifeline before you start the hand after you work the cuff, so it's easy to come back. And again, like I would, if I was making these, I use lifelines. I'd put it there. So easy to go back to the cuff if you decide that you need extra stitches or fewer stitches. And then I also put a lifeline in right after I finish the thumb, so that if I decide that I made the thumb opening, the thumb gore didn't fall in the exact right place, I could go back down and adjust that without messing up the hand. Okay, so that's a little bit on fit. And it doesn't really matter how many stitches are in your cuff. You know, I just increased 1, but if you have to increase 6 to make it fit how you want, that's fine. It will work just fine. So I hope that all makes sense to you. And you can adjust this pattern if you want to have a different size.